Find the exact value of the cosine of 4 pi over 3 without using a calculator. Okay, we're going to use a reference angle to do this. Step 1 is where we identify the reference angle. So we're going to draw an axis vertically and horizontally. We have 0 radians, pi over 2, pi, and 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi when we come all the way around. Now, our angle theta is 4 pi over 3. So we want to get everything expressed in the same denominator. So we're going to take 4 pi over 3 and all of our quadrantal angles, 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. We want to write those all with the same denominator. The LCD for all of those would be 6. So we're going to rewrite each one of these with the denominator 6. See, each one. Here, 3 pi over 2 is the same as, let's see, that's equal to, multiply top and bottom by 3. And we're going to get 9 pi over 6. And then 2 pi times 6 over 6 is 12 pi over 6. And then 4 pi over 3 multiplied by 2 over 2, you get 8 pi over 6. Now you see everything that's circled is written in terms of a common denominator 6. That's 9 pi over 6 at the bottom where 3 pi over 2 was. Okay, so let's draw our 4 pi over 3. It's easy to locate it now because 4 pi over 3, we said, is the same as 8 pi over 6. So we go up to the 3 pi over 6 and we go wrap around to the 6 pi over 6, but don't go all the way to 9 pi over 6. That's going too far. We want 8 pi over 6, so we're located somewhere between 6 pi over 6 and 9 pi over 6. That's our 8 pi over 6, which is equivalent to the given angle 4 pi over 3. Now we're going to identify the location of the reference angle. Well, it is the angle made with the terminal side of 4 pi over 3 that we've drawn there, and the closest x-axis, either the positive or the negative. Obviously, the closest one is the negative, so it's that little angle there. We'll call it theta bar. Theta bar is our reference angle. Okay, that implies that theta bar, in this picture, theta bar is equal to, let's see, it's equal to 8 pi over 6 minus 6 pi over 6, which is 2 pi over 6, which simplifies to pi over 3. Okay, so look at the picture. Look at where theta bar, our reference angle, is. That's the angle we're going to use to evaluate this function. It's the reference angle. Now, the next thing we have to determine is what would be the cosine of pi over 3. Well, let's see. The cosine of pi over 3, that would require, well, we could look at the 30, 60, 90 triangle. We draw a right triangle, and we have the 90-degree angle in the corner, and then we have the pi over 3 down below and pi over 6 on top. 1, 2, square root of 3. Okay, cosine of pi over 3 is adjacent over hypotenuse, 1 over 2. And then the next to the last step, number 3, is very important. What is the sine of this cosine going to be? Well, you know, all students take calculus, right? That's quadrants 1, 2, 3, 4, starting with the A, moving in a counterclockwise direction. Well, look at the terminal side of our angle that they gave us, 4 pi over 3. That terminal side is in quadrant 3. So let's draw a circle around the quadrant 3. Okay, so I said all students take calculus. What does that mean? That means we've circled the T in the third quadrant, which is the terminal quadrant for our given angle. And that implies that only the tangent and its cofunction its reciprocal function cotangent will be positive in that third quadrant. Every other angle has to be negative. So that tells us that the cosine will be negative in this quadrant. Okay? Finally, we evaluate our given function cosine of 4 pi over 3. It's equal to the negative, because of step 2, of the cosine of our reference angle pi over 3, which from the triangle is 1 over 2, so it's negative 1 over 2. So let's once again outline this problem. We're asked to find the exact value of a particular trig function of an angle that's not in the first quadrant without using a calculator. Step 1, identify the reference angle. It is where you determine the terminal side, the location of the terminal side of the given angle, and then you make the reference angle with respect to that terminal side and the closest either positive or negative x-axis. And you measure that, calculate it to be pi over 3 in this case. Step 2, you ask yourself, well, what is the trig function cosine of our reference angle, pi over 3? The answer was, we'll draw the 30, 60, 90 triangle, label the sides, and take the cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, and get 1 over 2. So the cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2. And finally, step 3, identify the sign, positive or negative, in the third quadrant, which is the terminal quadrant for the given angle. Well, that's quadrant 3, and only the tangent, you've circled the T there to see that only the tangent and its reciprocal function, cotangent, are going to be positive in that quadrant. Everything else is going to be negative, so our cosine will be negative. And finally, step 4, evaluate the cosine of the given function, the given angle, 4 pi over 3. It's equal to the negative of the cosine of the reference angle, which is negative 1 over 2.